Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Greetings and welcome everyone to today's webinar, where we will be talking about how to register and maintain a company with the CIPC and other portals that I'm going to take you through. So this is my very first presentation this year, so I welcome all of you and looking forward to great learning together in this new year. They call it 2020. So looking forward to great things. So we are the SA Accounting Academy. We connect, we partner, and we're trying to get you to succeed in your career. So that's the purpose of all this that we are doing. Okay, so all protocol observed. I greet everyone and I welcome you to today's webinar, which is how to register and maintain your business. So at the end of today's webinar, you will know, one, how to register a private company. You will know how to register a non-profit company, personal liability company known as an incorporated or cooperatives. Cooperatives another one. It's not related to personal liability. So let's just get this understood. So there's three different types of companies on this second bullet as we go along. There's a non-profit company, which is popularly known as NPOs. Yeah, so I'll when we get to it, I'll explain the difference there. So a personal liability company is usually known as an Inc. So if you see Ngobeni and Sons Inc., just know that it's a personal liability company, and we'll explain in detail when we get there. There's cooperatives as well. These are a different type of company. These are different types of companies, and they are usually referred to or popularly known as stokvels. So these are the different companies that we're going to learn about today. And again, we'll take you through the processes of how to change or update director or company information. So remember, there are those companies that have been running and operating, even if they are dormant. So somebody wants to change the name of the company. Somebody wants to change directors. So we'll show you how everything is done today. So that is one or some of the purposes of today's learning. Also, how to file annual returns with the CIPC. So that's another thing that we're going to show you today. And we hopefully, luckily, there's a few sections from this learning that will be practical. So we'll show you on a real life situation of how to file an annual return with the CIPC. The first one there, how to register a private company, that one I'll do practically and with a practical situation with you, and we'll go through it together. The other two, the other three types of companies, NPC, personal liability, and cooperatives, I'll just take you through the theory so you've got a full understanding of how to do it. So we'll have two different sessions. One is where I'm going to tell you all this theory and words, and then later on we'll all see how all these words that I'm telling you now come into practice. So brace yourselves, get your coffee, get your water, and let's get going. So we'll start with the theory. Like we said in the previous two slides, that there's different types of companies. There's state-owned companies, and everything that I'm talking about now, you'll find the majority of it or most of it from the Companies Act. They are the latest as amended. So the Companies Act of 2011, Act number 71. So that's the one that we're referring to. Remember that it was amended. So the previous one had different types of companies, but most of them are similar. So there's changes as they amend all these companies. So the state-owned companies is the first one. We're not going to go much into into state-owned companies because it's not in our day-to-day dealings as accountants. So state-owned companies, I'm sure we're pretty aware of them. They include the likes of ESCOM, the likes of SAA, those who are mostly in our news, in our daily news. So those are state-owned companies which what do we say? The minister thereof is Minister Pravin Gordhan. So at this current stage, hopefully there won't be a reshuffle. So the second type of companies is closed corporations. So In today's presentation, we will not deal much with close corporations and how to register them, simply because the New Companies Act does not allow for new registrations of close corporations. But those ones which are already existing are allowed to continue existing and operating as close corporations or CC, but no new CCs will be registered as of the implementation of the New Companies Act, which was many years ago now, nearly a decade ago. There's cooperatives, co-ops. Like I said, these ones are popularly known as stokvels, and people come together and put their minds and brains and skills and perhaps and sometimes financial resources and cooperate in order to benefit them and the community they live in. So these are different types of companies. This is another type of a company, and we'll together go through how to register a cooperative. Non-profit companies, non-profit organization is another one that we'll go through as well. So I'll just leave it there for now. The second last one, if not mistaken, is the personal liability company and Inc. Incorporated. I think that's what it stands for. It's another one that I will show how to register. We'll go through it together in today's presentation. So lastly, I put it last because this is the one that we're going to do last together. Private companies, which are the most popular today, to date, as when compared to the others. So almost everyone you meet every day in our everyday life is a director of a company. So that's what the New Companies Act has done. It has made it very easy for one to register a private company and own one and run one. But maintaining one, it needs us as accountants to assist these people. So company registrations, where and how do we register companies? There's two different types. The most popular one is that of Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, member of the DTI group. So normally you are referred to them as the CIPC. In the past they were called CIPRO. But alternatively, or less popular, is the government biz portal. This one is less popular and not very well known. So later on in the online part of the presentation or of the webinar, I'll just show you how the biz portal looks, so you get familiar with it and be able to use it here and there. But before I pass, perhaps let me explain the difference between the two. The Biz portal is a product of the CIPC, so there's not much difference there. So it's a baby of the CIPC. It was created by the CIPC. The only difference is that now with the Biz portal, you can only register companies that are for yourself as the director, whereas with Companies and Intellectual Property, CIPC, you can register companies on behalf of other people. So CIPC gives you the allowance to be a third-party agent, if we can call it that, whereas the Biz portal is only just for personal use, for your own use. As I can't say personal use, it's business, for business use, but for you as the owner of that business. So you'll see, if you go to the Biz portal, if you type in somebody's ID number, somebody else's ID number, and it's different to the one that is registered on the CIPC, it will tell you that you cannot continue. But we'll look at both these systems and these portals later on in practice and in a practical format. So we'll start with the CIPC. It's a member of the DTI group. So yes, I think their head offices are here, are in Pretoria. So what are some of their functions? So some of the selected functions of the CIPC: 1, they register companies. 2, cooperatives and intellectual property rights. So these are trademarks, patents, designs, and copyrights, as well as the maintenance thereof. And I'll just pay attention to the last part, the maintenance thereof, meaning part and parcel of what we are learning today is a baby is part and parcel of what the CIPC does. Things like your annual returns and like we'll tell you about the new CIPC checklist, which is causing a lot of havoc out there for accountants and business owners. So yes, So the second function, so remember these are selected. I selected the ones that are relevant to today because the CIPC does so many things and so many functions. So disclosure of information on its business registers, that's another thing that they do. They also monitor compliance with contraventions of financial reporting standards and making recommendation thereof to the Financial Reporting Standard Council. So fraudulent directors and delinquent directors and those who are doing all those monitoring compliance or or lack thereof. So compliance and non-compliance with reporting standards. We know international financial reporting standards.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.